Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to ChiefsBlitz.com YouTube podcast with your hosts, Nick Athan, Andre Tillman, and producer Hense Todd. They'll break down the three-time Super Bowl champions as only they can do. Here's your host, Nick Athan.
Welcome to Chiefs Blitz. I'm your host, Nick Athan. Today we're joined by Lou Montagna, Coach Andre Tillman, producer extraordinaire Hense Todd, and we're going to talk about a really entertaining game last night. Chiefs win 23-20 thanks to the legs of Sir Patrick Mahomes. I'm already knighting him as the potential GOAT runner-up. I think that's a knighthood. But hey, guys, welcome to the show. Interesting game. Quick hitters, thoughts off the top of your head. Lou, you go first. What'd you think?
Let's go. I guess the thing that comes to mind first is in the, immortal words of my paisano coach Jimmy V, survive and advance. We're in the position now of the season. We've been talking about it throughout the whatever first 10 shows of this run, as we are in our preseason still. And I think they're still working things out, but the bottom line is they came out with the win. Patrick, again, over my dead body, or we losing this game, and he made the plays when he had to. Even Steph misses some three-pointers and has to find different ways to win. So Patrick, at the end of the day, made the plays.
I'm going to say this. The Chiefs came out there and played well. They played well enough to win.
That's it. Man, a few words.
All right.
All right.
Honestly, if you want to go into detail,
No.
I'm about to.
I'm just messing with you.
But what I have to say, man, is it was a good game. A lot of people, blaming on the refs. A lot of people saying that the Chiefs ain't playing well, and I look at it as watching the game is like I told my son. I sat there watching the game with him last night. I said, you got to look at it this way, son. When you're on top of the world, when you're the best of your game, when you're a Tom Brady of the world, when you're a champion, like it says in back of Andre's wall right now, everybody gonna give you their best. Mm-hmm. Everybody's gonna give you their best. They're gonna give you their best shot, no matter what. If you can be the best writer, you can be the best fireman, you can be the best policeman, you can be the best lawyer. Everybody gonna try to challenge that throne, no matter what. So that's why I think. But again, we cannot win games like that if we're gonna play the Bills, the Dolphins, and the rest of the people in the AFC, and we got to pick up the slack in the receiver room and a little on the D line. But I ain't gonna go more in detail. Let's get this show on the road. What you got for us, Nick?
Let's roll. Well, again, I think when you look at this team overall, they were fortunate last night. Before the show, we talked about the officiating. This is one of the worst officiating crews in the National Football League. They average some of the highest penalties, including holding calls. We can talk about all the misses that they made on both sides of the ball. And I know Robin Saleh was upset after the game. Sauce Gardner was upset. But, you can't grab a guy after 5 yards down the field. The face mask wasn't a face mask. It was face mask in the field of play. The horse collar tackle was actually a face mask. I think it was Dalvin Cook. You can look at all these things. Mahomes didn't play great at times. I think the Jets, Zach Wilson, played better for about half the game than Patrick, and that was good enough to get him to the 2020 time point. But in the end, it was Patrick Mahomes when his arm wasn't working and the terrible interceptions. He used his legs to find a way to win, just kind of like he did in the Super Bowl. And I'll say this. Zach Wilson played the best game of his career, lost by 3 points. Jalen Hurts played the best game of his career in the Super Bowl, lost by 3 points. You have got to take out Patrick Mahomes when you have a chance. The Jets had 3 possessions with a score tied, and they went punt, and turnover. That's why they lost. It wasn't because of the call on Sauce Gardner.
Right.
Well, listen, Nick, I get that. I like that. A good speech you just delivered.
Thank you.
Well, let's just call it what it is. It was a defensive interference, man. Right? I'll say this. I'm gonna say this. That's a defense interference. Sorry, Sauce. I apologize to Sauce. It was a bang bang play. Both guys was competing. Both guys was competing hard. It was intense. It was the fourth quarter. It was I mean that's what you want to see, right? And for the refs to call that in the middle of that situation was to me was bad, right? Let them guys go out there and let them compete. Like when games get like this, let them compete. Right?
Mhm.
Honestly, I don't believe that was a defensive pass interference. I don't. I feel like these guys was competing, right? And Mahomes threw a bad pass. That pass, I think it was cover two. I believe. I think cover two man, right? Cover two man, right? Sauce did what Sauce does, right? And it was safety over the top. Why throw the ball over there? Why throw the ball? You forced that pass. You threw it over there. So that was a good play by the Jets secondary. But again, let these guys play. Let them play. This is this one, like this to me, it felt like a playoff game. It was so intense, right? Let them guys play.
Like I said, everybody's gonna play the champion harder, just like it says over there on Lose Desk. It say champions. When you are champions, everybody's gonna play you hard, right, Lou? What you got to say about it? What you got to say, Lou?
Right there. It's hard. Depending on how they're calling the game during the course of the game, that's what the players, are probably most upset at is that, if you weren't calling that in the first quarter, why are you calling it now? Now, we don't know. Maybe if Sauce doesn't grab Scantling's jersey, maybe the pass is closer because by the time Patrick threw it, maybe he gets over that a little bit quicker. We don't know. Going back to the Super Bowl, did Bradbury or whoever it was, it Slay or somebody grab Juju? Was that a penalty? It was like in the penultimate moment of the game. Do you really want to make that call? But he did it, so you got to call it. So yeah, it's hard to really go back and say, well, the ref blew it. He saw it, throws the flag. Maybe if he had a chance to go back and do it over, he doesn't throw the flag, but he did. You play on and, let the chips fall where they may.
I don't know about that, Lou. I feel like it was a bad call. I feel like
it could have been.
They didn't want the Jets to beat Kansas City. They didn't.
No.
They didn't want that. They didn't want that. It was Swift was up there. It was you're not going. They're not going to let the Kansas City Chiefs lose and Taylor Swift was up there. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole package deal was made for that.
Okay, all right.
Honestly, I'm gonna say this: the Jets defense is the real deal. Kansas City the offensive line played great, awesome, fantastic, right? But where is the receivers coming from? Kelsey gets locked up. Who is the X receiver? Like who's going to step up?
Yeah,
who's going to step up?
I mean, I disagree. I don't think the offensive line had a great game. I mean, they did 204 yards rushing. Primarily because Isaiah Pacheco was just lights out. Receiving, catching the ball. He needs to be more of a focal point in the offense, which is a big shift, for Andy because he wants those receivers, but he's got something special in Pacheco, and I think that they need to use him more. But I think you make a good point. Who's going to step up? I think Pacheco, I think McKinnon have to be much larger in the offense. There were no screen passes last night. It's like the Chiefs are still in that vanilla offensive mode. Until they play someone they have to beat or someone that doesn't have game film on them yet, these things that they work in practice that they don't display, the offense has still been pretty vanilla. We haven't seen any reverses. We haven't seen any flea flickers. We haven't seen any, anything that has a lot to do with misdirection other than running guys from right to left or left to right to kind of pull defenders, to a certain spot to open up other areas of the field. Basic Andy Reid designs. And I think that's –
I was going to say, do you think Andy's doing that on purpose because of the young players on the field? That he's kind of, let's get these guys kind of, I guess, indoctrinated in the way we do things, the simple things first?
I agree. They have to all block. They got to learn to block before they can catch. Rashee Rice missed that big block on a jet sweep last night that could have sprung Sky Moore to a touchdown because there was three blockers in front of him. He had one guy to push out of the way. He couldn't do it. Justin Ross has been out there blocking. Sky Moore, God love the kid, still is having trouble running the right routes. I thought he was past that after weeks 2 and 3, but it came back last night. And I think Andy doesn't have a choice because he can't put too much pressure on these guys because they got to do it. Kadarius Toney, I mean, he made one of the best catches of any wide receiver all year, catching that ball and getting a helmet hit, and he hung on to the ball. So I don't want to hear he can't catch the ball, but he's a blocker too. So, when you got 3 guys covering Travis Kelce, somebody has to step up, but Andy Reid's got to design a little bit better offense and maybe let the reins go. But for me, it all starts with Pacheco and Kelce, and then you work after that. If those 2 guys are humming, then that means defensive players are going to have to pull off, some of these wide receivers, maybe even take one of the defenders off Kelce and be able to have some success with the receivers. But, they have got to step up. They're kind of in their own head. They're kind of in their own way. They're kind of learning. But, Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, and Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce, who was clearly upset after the game, at least from some of the reports I heard from some of the sideline people, that he was upset with the way the offense played. They'll figure it out. They've got some – the Vikings defense is terrible. And then they get the Chargers and they get the Broncos, Chargers-Broncos. So or Broncos Chargers, I think they're going to be fine.
So we may have buried the lead here. And I'm sorry. This was Pop's game. I mean, this was his breakout game.
Yeah, it was
in New Jersey. He's back home. I'm sure that had him amped up even more than he generally is because he's always jacked. But the push-ups in between plays, making some catches. I mean, we've been waiting for this, right? I mean, it's just like he's got to just kind of take over that spot. Clyde is Clyde, and maybe he'll make a play or 2 per game, but it just seems like when there's like a cutback to be made, he's just like half a step slow and he gets busted in the backfield instead of getting downfield for like 10 yards.
Right,
where Pacheco is really starting to find his groove with that. And I am here for it. I am here for it. I'm all about Pops.
I'm gonna say this. He did have 20. Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me talk.
Go ahead, both sides.
First, I get cut off by Luke.
Sorry, I'm all excited.
But what I said is, the Chiefs have the offensive line. I see Trey Smith out there playing his butt off. I see, the tackles are playing their butt off. What Andy Reid got to do is when the iron is hot and they can't. It's like playing Madden. When the iron is hot and somebody can't get out there and they can't stop it, they showed that they wasn't stopping the run. Why not keep running the ball? Isaiah had the hot hand. We got to keep running the ball there. Isaiah had a hot hand. You get in the red zone, we want to do these cute plays and stuff, but Isaiah had a hot hand there. We got to give him the ball more, and he looked like I was looking at him. I was like, man, he's kind of looking like Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch get out there. He's in beast mode, and I like the way the kid run. I don't know what it is with the Clyde Edwards-Helaire experiment. I'm okay with I'm not nothing against the guy, but that ship has sailed. You know what I mean? Because he got to give Isaiah Pacheco more touches and see what else happened, man. Because when the receivers start going and then the offensive line start clicking well together, I think it's a better show.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this real quick. Now, what y'all just said, the man had 20 attempts. Isaiah Pacheco had 20 attempts. They fed that man the ball. This was his game, right?
Finally,
I get that. But we're after they honed in on Isaiah Pacheco, right? Okay, now they figure, okay, they're gonna run the ball. Okay. The issue for me was this, like I stated earlier, who was that guy that's gonna step up? Who's gonna be that X? And we didn't see it. That's why the frustration. That's why I believe that Kelce was frustrated, because if Kelce locked up, right, and they containing the run game, who's going to step up?
Yep, you're right, and that's what they got to figure out. I mean, that's what the next 3 games, and when you get to Miami, you got to have it figured out. Now, again, Miami got crushed yesterday by the Bills.
They did.
I really enjoyed watching that game, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm a closet Josh Allen guy. I just love the kid. I love everything he stands for. I love his passion. I love the way he plays the game. He's tough. You know, he's Ben Roethlisberger with a lot more skill.
I agree.
And throwing the ball deep. But man, I'm telling you, you know, the Chiefs.
I don't agree with you, Nick.
Which one? On Ben?
Come on, Ben. Come on, Allen.
I don't agree with you on Allen. Nah.
You don't think it's like Big Ben a little bit?
I think Josh Allen's that guy he's going to play hard in a regular season, but when it gets to the playoffs,
we'll see.
It's a different story.
Listen, I don't disagree with you. I'm just talking about from if you look at not to go off topic, but if you look at Big Ben and Josh Allen at the similar point in their career, they're about the same player.
The physical stature for sure.
Yeah.
The arm strength, the escapability, extending plays. Now, obviously, Ben didn't have the legs that Josh has, but I think just the mentality, I think was where you're going, Nick, and how he plays the game. Right.
Yeah.
If you recall those Steeler teams, whether it was AB or Juju or Mike Wallet, whoever they had on the field, he would make the play.
He would make the plays. And that's why I'm going to circle it all the way back because I actually had a point.
Go.
When you look at Patrick Mahomes, he's got similar traits as far as toughness and desire.
Oh,
and the problem is, like you just mentioned, with Roethlisberger, it didn't matter who was on the field. And for Mahomes, most of the time, it doesn't matter who's on the field. Mm-hmm. It's mattering now because what's happening is Patrick is relying on Travis like he relied on Tyreek. When you took Tyreek out of the equation last year, what happened? Guys stepped up, of course, and not having Juju is huge. Until they find another Juju-esque receiver who can run this offense and be that second, slot tight end, to play opposite Kelce, that's going to be the struggle. Hopefully it's Rice. But if you look at what the Chiefs need, what they have to develop, Mahomes broke another record last night. 200 touchdowns, the fastest to 200. These things are all great, and he's driven, and he admits his own mistakes. But what we saw last night was Patrick was just kind of being a little desperate instead of throwing the ball away to live for another down. And he talked about that after the game. And I think it's important that is what he needs to work on. And I think for Patrick and for Andy Reid, okay, let's simplify this thing, or let's reduce the wide receiver rotation and let's focus on these 3 guys or 4 guys. These are the 4 guys that are going to come in and rotate. And this is how we're going to get them up to speed. And if MVS can't create separation and Watson can't create separation, then they've got problems. So they're going to have to teach these other kids how to create separation. So for Patrick, you can't have the excuse anymore. Well, these guys may not know the offense. You find a way to get the ball and you create plays to their strengths.
There you go.
That's something we're not seeing.
There you go. Absolutely, Nick. Absolutely,
I didn't see the snap counts, but it seemed like they did cut down the rotation a little bit. And to your point, as far as Rice is concerned, Nick, it looked like he did make some of those plays where he was like this, almost like the second tight end. And Rice made the catch. He not all of them, but on 2 occasions, big plays, right? And he is, if the kid can just get out of his head about catching the ball, because as soon as he does catch the ball, he makes it happen. He gets upfield immediately. And he can make some people miss. He's strong. So he's probably the leader in the clubhouse as far as being that guy right now, because like you said, the others, Sky, we're waiting on it. He shows flashes, but the consistency isn't there. And MVS, I don't know what the hell happened. It seemed like in the playoffs last year, he really picked it up when he had to, especially in the Cincinnati game. And even Jacksonville, but I'm not seeing it. It's tough to watch that a little bit because you really thought he would be the guy to step up.
I agree.
We did thought that. Go ahead, Bota.
And speaking of Patrick Mahomes, man, even though he threw them interceptions, but nobody has a better career like he has right now starting off. Right now he got 200 yards, 200, the most touchdowns, for right now, and him, when they pick it up, man, I feel like it's gonna be a show to be having. But again, we cannot wait on Sky Moore for this second year. He should have been picking it up now. That's what training camp is for. That's what off season for. We cannot be wailing and say, oh, we got to teach these guys how to run deep routes and everything else in the mid of the season already beginning. That's what training camp and all that should have been happening for. And that's what Justin Ross came in, because that's what they was showboating. They was putting it out there on the internet, putting it out there in the NFL world that, hey, this is going to be our guy. And we haven't yet to see him. We had yet to see what he can do. Go ahead. Right?
Like what Nick stated too. It's like create. Okay, if they don't know the playbook, we'll create an opportunity for the guys to get on field. Red zone. Okay, go out there, put Ross out there like as an X receiver. Let him go out there and go for it in the red zone. Be a red zone threat. Be a red zone threat. That's a good start. Be a red zone threat, right? You see the man's blocking. Give him the opportunity to go out there and be that threat, because of right now. If y'all notice right now, Kelsey is gonna get locked up from here on week out. You're not gonna see big performances from Kelsey, because they know their strength is Kelsey. Why? Because they have nobody else. He's gonna continue. He's gonna continue to get blanket. Every team is gonna home in on Kelsey, right? Who else is gonna step up? And my thoughts is this: let Ross eat. Put him in a scenario, a slant.
I gotta give him a chance.
Do a slant. Do something to get him going.
I understand that, but again, this what. Yeah, we had Tyreek Hill. We got spoiled with that speed. Now Miami got it. They getting spoiled with it. But again, when you don't have them type of receivers, and this is how everybody knows football is simple. You guys if you got a running game, then everything else will work, right?
Yep.
If you got Isaiah Pacheco and a tight end and Travis Kelsey, everything else is going to come alive, because everybody going to be keening in. That's why I kept saying that. That's why I tweeted out: run the ball. Bring them down off of your receivers. Everybody tune in on Pacheco. Hit them with a play action. Boom. There you go. You got MVS open. Boom. Then you got Scott Moore looking good. Boom. You got Rashee Rice looking good. Travis, everybody can't hone in on Travis no more, because they got to key in on the run.
But no, let me piggyback on what you just said, though. Like what you just said, I get that, run the ball. But what happened? You run the ball and there's still no separation. There's no separation from the X with Z receivers. Nobody cannot get open right now for the Chiefs. Their biggest weakness, their biggest Achilles heel is the receivers. Kelsey's gonna get blanket, bro. They're gonna shut the run game. Not shut down, but they're gonna contain the run, right? So if they're doing that, who else is gonna step up? Well, Juju got separation. Juju got separation last year, right? Juju can make that play, but
I agree with you on that, man.
Because MVS ain't it.
If Mahomes had all that time in the pocket like yesterday, I counted. It was over 30 seconds.
He did.
Before he took off running. Mm-hmm. That means that nobody can get no separation. Nobody's moving. Nobody's getting open. If he's back there all day, patting the ball, looking, or it could be the Jets. Secondary is just that good. You know what I mean?
They've got the best. They've got the best start. Yeah, they got the best starting cornerbacks in the NFL. There's no question.
They're pretty good.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
It could be that, but again, I put it like this: if the hot hand is Isaiah Pacheco, nobody is stopping him. Keep the ball in his hand. Even on screen passes, he was wide open. He had the hot hand. If Travis Kelsey get the hot hand, give him the ball. Whoever got that's how this offense is to run now until somebody step up. You know what I mean?
Well, they kind of did. I think that's the most carries Pacheco's had in a game. So far in his career. So so you see the productivity when he gets more action. So that'll probably continue. And maybe this team just will play a little bit differently because the defense is a little bit better. Because maybe the wide receivers aren't where they need to be. That it's going to be more. Let's run the ball, play action, play defense, and win games the way every game is going to be different, right? There's going to be games where they have to score more points, and they will. It's just a matter of we got to see it. And I hear everybody, and I'm not overly concerned about it, but you would like to see some of these guys start to make some plays, because that's a big part of getting the confidence up. We saw that with what happened when Zach Wilson was a little bit more confident last night. So anyways, in terms of the receivers, it's going to take a little bit more time. We'll see. But it looks to me like Rice is the first one that's kind of, okay, he's making some plays. He's got to make more.
Yep.
Speaking of defense, Dre, what you see last night in the tackling and
oh man, listen,
defensive line. What you got to say about that?
Well, I said before the show, I said I'm very impressed with the defensive line, man. I'm very impressed. Donna been playing very well this season. You know, been playing very well this season. He was he had 2 solo tackles, right? Did good, and he had a PD a pass deflection, right? Number 23 from the Chargers, right? The guy that they picked up, Tranquil, right?
Yeah.
Right. My man has 7 solo tackles and a forced fumble. I mean, he came in and made an immediate impact for this defense. Immediate impact for this defense. You know, we know what Chris Jones is going to bring to the table. We know what George has been doing. A lot of people ain't really giving George enough credit. He's been getting a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks. He's been getting pressure on these quarterbacks. So
he had Wilson. He let him go.
He did, man. But you see the potential. And remember, guys, the cat from the 49ers, he hasn't started yet, right? Look at the cat from the Raiders,
Charles Amenahu.
Yeah.
Think about this though. You see what Kansas City's doing now. Wait till they get their rotation going. Remember, Spags love rotational guys. He love a good, healthy rotation. Keep them fresh and keep them healthy. You know what I'm saying? When they're fresh and they're rotating and they playing at a high level, y'all guy Williams is going to step up. You know why? Because hey, he's not under pressure. Boom, get pressed, the ball goes in the air, then y'all guy can go out there and he make interceptions. He can get a couple PDs, right? Because there's no pressure, you know. So the thing is this, and on top of that, man, we got to get credit to Snead. Snead battle. Snead's the guy, to me, is going to go out there and going to get it done. He's going to battle. You know, you see what they did? They moved Wilson on the other side. They moved him away from Snead because Snead was handling his business on that side. You know, I'm impressed with Snead. McDuffie been playing pretty well too.
PFF rated the number 1 cornerback in the league.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you agree with PFF stuff, I mean, I don't want to say I don't know how accurate it is. But the bottom line is he is the number 1 rated PFF corner.
PFF always give you their theory on that and their facts. Sometimes people agree with it, some people don't. But it's what the eye can see. And what the eye can see is McDuffie been playing fairly well. Reed gave up a touchdown to number 87, but again, like Nick said, he said it was down his helmet. It went for the helmet. The play wouldn't have happened, but at the same time, strap your helmet a little tighter, my man. You know what I'm saying? You want to have that.
Get your helmet when you get your helmet pulled off and right in front of a referee. Simple fundamentals. Strap your helmet up next time. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
But
speaking of Snead, Nick, do you think they're going to extend him? That's a sneaky one. I mean, he deserves it for sure. But with these other young guys stepping up, being cheaper, do they again put their assets somewhere else?
Here's what I think.
Well, that's what I think.
Go ahead. You go first.
I was going to say this is what
young guy goes first. Go.
I'll put it like this. I was saying Snead and 2 first-round picks to get Jefferson for Miami.
There you go.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, that's not a bad idea either. I think the reason the Chiefs didn't re-sign Juju or make a better effort was because of his knee, and he's riding the bench because of that knee in New England, but he got his money. I think with Snead, they're very concerned about the knee in the offseason. Clearly, he didn't practice much in training camp. He didn't play in the preseason, but when the lights came on, he was a go. If the knee is sound and they're convinced it's not going to be an issue, and he's willing to take a team-friendly deal, but if he's looking for elite money, he's not going to get it from Beach.
Good point, Nick.
They have to sign Bolton, who I think is a higher priority. They got to sign Creed Humphreys. They got to sign Trey Smith. They may have to find a new left tackle next year, which I think maybe comes in the draft, or the kid from Oklahoma that they got that drafted, whose name is
Morris.
Yeah, Morris. Morris was mighty impressive, for what I'm told, in camp. he could be the long-term solution, and that's why they drafted him. But man, Steve, that's a tough one. He and Willie Gay to me are like 50-50. Gay's not going to get elite money either.
No, he's not.
But if those two guys want a team-friendly deal, that makes sense. I mean, the Chiefs are going to have a ton of cap space next year, even if they sign after they sign Chris Jones to an extension. They're still going to have a lot of cap space. Then Mahomes' contract's going to allow them to maneuver any amount of dollars they need to. And I won't jump too far into March, but T. Higgins is going to be the number one priority for Brett Veach. He's going to throw every penny he's got at this kid to get him in a Chiefs uniform. Mm-hmm. So when you factor in all these things in the offseason, to answer your question, Lou, I'd say it's 50-50 for him and Willie Gay. I'd like to keep Snead, but that's why they have McDuffie. That's why they drafted Nick Jones. Veach always looks a year or two ahead of what I got to do contract-wise, when I have to save cap space. But, if Snead continues to play this way and makes the Pro Bowl, at least the Pro Bowl games or whatever they call it these days, he'd have to take he's not going to get Charvarius Ward money, but, he may get Justin Reed money, and that might not be enough for him. And
you can
that's
tell
a problem.
Spags loves the guy.
Well,
I don't know if that means anything, but he loves himself some LJ Snead.
It carries some weight. Trust me. I mean, he generally has gotten the players that he wanted. I mean, listen, they wanted to get rid of Mike Dana, and Spags was like, no, just trust me. Joe Cullen and I will figure it out. And he's been, I think, one of their MVPs defensively. And I don't think they're as good defensively when he's on his game, because he's developed the bull rush, which is something Frank Clark used to be able to do, but Frank wasn't able to do that the last couple of years. And he can replace those Clark numbers. So, kudos to them for sticking it out. But, they got a lot of questions. And a lot of that's going to, be determined on kind of what happens with some of these young guys that they're putting out on the field. I mean, again, Chiefs have the youngest defense in the NFL. Hence put the graphic up. The only team to hold opponents to 21 points or less, for the first 4 games of the season. Mm-hmm. We didn't even have that in the Derek Thomas, Neil Smith era. It wasn't 21 points, and maybe it was close, but when you have one legit superstar on defense in Chris Jones, and a bunch of kids who were drafted in the last year or two playing this well with some veterans thrown in, that's a good mix. That's why the offense can struggle and has been struggling and get away with it. Until they figure their stuff out.
So I know we touched on Zach Wilson before, and I hate to jump around, but I think it maybe bears some talk on this. Like Nick said, he played excellent in the second and third quarters, and actually on the game-tying drive, he threw 3 balls that were as perfect as you'd see. Drew Tranquil had perfect coverage on the sideline. He couldn't quite get his hands in between to knock the ball out. Leo Chenal in cover. He was there, just put it in the perfect place. Like they said, there's no defense for the perfect pass. And then the touchdown to Lazard, Brian Cook is like a fingertip away from knocking that out. And he puts it in there. So now if you're a Jets fan, are you thinking, okay, he's getting it, or is this just another tease? Because in the fourth quarter, when they needed him, he reverted back to Zach Wilson
of the first quarter.
Yep. Looks away from the snap, fumble, game over. Now, you can say what you want about the penalty, and they had called the offensive holding, but the bottom line is the Chiefs milked the last 7:24 with 50 yards.
In Jets territory. They're in the Jets territory the entire time.
And didn't have to score. And Mahomes was there for it. He loved that play. But again, so there was a lot of luminaries in the crowd, right? Taylor Swift and Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, his wife, everybody was there. But as far as the Jets were concerned, Aaron Rodgers was there. And I think Nick and I maybe texted about this. Would he kind of show out, because would it help having Rodgers there? And maybe it did. big bro in the stands. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he wants to show up, and maybe he felt some confidence during the course of the game. But my question to you guys, and the same as the Jets fans, is that enough to say, okay, maybe he's getting it? Because ultimately he still lost the game.
I'm gonna say this.
He made the critical turnover that ended up, you know, the game over. So what are we thinking if you're a Jets fan? Can we build on this, or is it just like, you know what? He made a few good throws, kept us in the game, but ultimately he lost it.
I'm gonna say this.
I
He was
feel like
28 for 39, right? He threw 245, 71%, right? He was 71%. That speaks volumes. 71%,
Well, he
right?
had good numbers. I'll give you that.
Good numbers. So on the big stage, he performed. Now you can say Aaron Rodgers was there. Credit, because he wanted to impress his mentor. You know, came out the second half and played very well. He was making throws again, that touch throws, beautiful throws.
Yeah.
Like, we see the potential in him. And honestly, I'm not a Jets fan, but if I was, I would feel very confident in Zach Wilson going forward because he's putting it together. Now, like, again, some people start off slow, right? And he started off slow, but you see the confidence the Jets have in him. You seen how they rallied with him, even on that muff fumble, even on that muff snap, they rallied with him. They went to the sideline, talked to him, said, "No, it's okay. You know, you got it." But to me, watching that game and watching those throws was incredible. Because Lou, these Chiefs guys, they was in good coverage,
Yeah.
right? Cook was in good coverage. Chanel was in good coverage. You know, Reed was in good coverage, but it was the throw.
Yep. Perfect.
It was the throw. It was the touch throws. I mean, I'm like, wow, Zach
again,
Wilson putting it together.
Zach Wilson looked great. Everybody looked great when they played the Chiefs. Because guess what? They are the champions. Everybody, like I said at the beginning of the show, everybody gonna bring Chiefs a game. You see the sign in the back of your head, Dre? You see the sign on your desk, Lou? They are champions. Everybody gonna bring the A game. That's like Mike Tyson. When everybody fought Mike Tyson, they try to bring it the A game. You know what I mean? Everybody fought Muhammad Ali. Everybody try to bring the A game.
And
Tom
they
Brady,
still knock him the hell out.
Except for Holyfield.
What happened at the end? You see what Mahomes did at the end? He got up and he could have scored a touchdown. He got up and was like, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm the best.
That's what all they say.
I got it.
That right there was the move. That was the signature move. I said,
and that's the difference between, you know, the pro, the guy that's done it over and over again. Even though he didn't have his best game, he was able to ultimately do what his job was, to make the team, drag them to the finish line, so to speak.
Right.
Go into church mode. You know, you got all the Chiefs bettors are probably cursing him for not scoring that touchdown.
Oh yeah, you know they are. They lost
and covering the spread.
Vegas made a fortune on that slide.
But he was like, "Hey," and they said, "Are you not entertained? Here's the ball, man. We win." There's the picture right there. It's like, all right.
That was a classic picture. I said, "Dang,
I
heard about the Jets fan."
So taking it back to Zach Wilson, he's going to have to now build on this performance. Now, again, there's no moral victories in the NFL. There's no style points. This isn't NCAA football where you're getting style points or getting ranked. They lost, okay? But can he now put another performance together where it's a little bit more than just 2 or 3 the second and third quarter?
Okay.
I don't know that he can.
Here's the defining tone on Zach Wilson. He has 2 jobs left in the regular season: beat the Bills and beat the Dolphins at least one time. He's beaten the Bills. He's got to beat the Dolphins. That'll help the Chiefs. So I'm a Zach Wilson guy up
for
until
3
that
games.
point where he lays an egg, you know, in playing those teams 3 times for the remainder of the season. To me, that's going to be my judging point. But hey, I think Aaron Rodgers
and looking at that and looking back on that picture, not to cut you off.
That's all right.
I look at the picture and look at Dave Tobe. Look at Dave Tobe as I bring it in. Dave Tobe is looking at him like, we have greatness on our hands. Look at Dave Tobe is looking at him. Look at Dave Tobe. He's looking at him like, hey, we have greatness in our heads. And that's a signature poster. I got to get that poster right there.
That's a beautiful shot. That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
I got to get that shot there.
And in New York City and the bright lights, when you got all those celebrities there, you got the national media, everything is perfect. Everything is just perfect for the Jets to shock the world. And Mahomes said, I'm just toying with you for 59 minutes. I got this.
Over my dead body.
That's Mahomes' philosophy, guys. He is not going to lose these games. No matter what we say on this show about the opposing teams, Mahomes is not going to lose these games. He's not. That's Jordan-ish. That's Jordan-ish. I said he's not losing these games.
Yeah.
My son was like, why he didn't run in for the touchdown? I said, hey, why run in for the touchdown? You can risk injuries and if they scored out there on defense.
Herm Edwards. We played to win the game.
Yeah.
He slid down and said, there you go, ladies. All she wrote. The game is over.
Let me take my bow. This is my encore.
Before the end of the show, back on what I seen for Isaiah Pacheco, that is a 7th-round draft pick.
Yep.
That is a heck of a pickup by Brett Veach. To know the situation of the game, bust a run and slide down to stay in bounds, to still kill time on the clock. There was I said, oh, I jumped up on my chair. I said, what you cheering for? I said, you see how you slid down and inbound? Yeah. You still killed the clock. I said, that's awareness right there. And that's why he need to be starting. I want to see no more. I don't want the Clyde Edwards-Helaire ship has changed. Has sailed.
You want to put too much pressure on Pac, though. You want to keep it balanced, though, my man.
No, well, McKinnon needs to get more snap. Andy likes to keep McKinnon fresh for the second half. And if he doesn't get anything out of Clyde, but you're right. This offense is Pacheco.
Yep, I agree.
It is Travis Kelce, and it is Patrick Mahomes until somebody else steps up. And
don't leave out Rasheed Rice, sir.
What's that? I'm just saying until someone else steps
about the big names, man. You know what I'm saying?
I know names. And the Chiefs are not going to make a trade. Maybe they make a run for Claypool. We could talk about that on Wednesday's show. Because he's definitely he's in the outs with the Bears. He failed in Pittsburgh. He's failing in Chicago. The guy needs a change of scenery. He could be a good fit. But besides that,
I agree.
It's not the risk that they have to take, because that would mean even if they bring in a guy like that, if they bring in a veteran, who are you going to sit? Who isn't going to get the reps? Who isn't going to get the experience that they're going to need for the remainder of this year and into next year or into the postseason, for that matter? That's what's scary to me.
I don't think he failed, to be fair to Claypool. I don't think he failed. I think he was just on both running teams. Pittsburgh was a running team. Chicago Bears is a running team.
Chicago Bears are confused.
Don't know what they want to do.
Putting it lightly.
I'm not bringing politics into this one. Not happening. Go ahead.
I think if Claypool, see, a lot of people gonna get Claypool mixed up with Pittsburgh and the Bears. When you put Claypool with Patrick Mahomes and get him a little bit of a shot, I think that'll be a great pickup and a great steal.
He's fast. We'll talk about that on Wednesday's show.
All right, gotcha.
We might know more by then anyway.
So with that said, man, we want to thank everybody for watching. This is a great topic, a great show today. It was another Chiefs win on Sunday. We want to thank Mike. But we want to thank everybody's Dre for his takes, Luke for his take, Nick for always writing up the great articles. And also, guys, you can follow us on Chiefs Blitz at ChiefsBlitz.com, Chiefs Blitz YouTube, Chiefs Blitz on Spotify. As Dre don't know how to stay still in the classroom.
Well, my cord came out my microphone, gentlemen, and I didn't want to put too much attention on the mic. Now
he's got the Dion look today. I kind of like it,
Yeah, I know what this might be my new look for the show.
You got a cowboy hat?
I know you're battling a little.
I do. You have a cowboy hat?
So.
Yeah,
a cowboy hat
for the championship banner, man. You know, Nick did me right. Well, I'm thinking about the cowboy hat. I'm thinking about that, man.
And maybe switch over to "I Ain't Hard to Find."
Oh, it sounds good.
Yeah.
We coming.
We coming. Yeah. We want to thank you guys. Just like you said, we coming. Chiefs Blitz are coming. So, guys, we want to thank guys for everybody for please subscribe and share the show. And with that said, we'll see you guys noon on Wednesday. You have a great Monday. All right.
Peace.
Yeah.
Let's
Peace
go,
out, guys.
Survive in advance.